Hello everybody, I'm Matt Anderson and welcome to today's Daily Elevation. And the topic today is, at what point in your life did you most feel like yourself? At what point in your life did you most feel like yourself? And the first point I want to make about this, well, firstly, I suppose the best thing you could do would be to click pause and to do some thinking about this and to actually jot down some notes about times in your life when you just really felt like, yeah, this is who I am, this is what I love to do, this is when I'm at my most centered, my most at peace, this is really very much who I am, or when I am doing this, I absolutely feel in my element. I mean, those are the types of things to think about. And so the truth is again, the purpose of this Daily Elevation is for you really to think on this topic for obvious reasons. Well, I shouldn't say not for obvious reasons, because actually this first reason isn't obvious, I don't think, at all until you think about it. And that is that when you think about the most successful people in our culture, and I think it's however you define success. I'm not necessarily at all talking about the wealthiest people. I'm simply talking about the best known, the people at the top of their field. Generally speaking, one of the things that stands out about people who are very successful is that they are themselves, and that they generally don't put on airs and graces, and that it's almost sometimes their honesty or their willingness to do things a certain way that absolutely is in fitting, and it's what sets them apart. It is that they break rules to some degree to do things their way, and that's what's made them successful, is because they just were themselves about it. And I think that's very hard for many of us to do, for many people to do in this culture, because there's so many pressures on us to be a certain way, to dress a certain way. So it's a wonderful thing to think about for yourself, is when did you most, and I move on really in terms of the next question. So when do you show your true colors now, or when did you, at what point in your life did you show your truest colors as far as who you really love to be? And that too may require some thought. You may start adding to your list. When do I feel like I really showed my true colors? What was I doing? How was I being? Where was I? All of these could be useful questions. What was going on such that I felt most myself and less pressured to do things because my parents wanted this, or because some teachers at school were expecting this, or bosses I had were expecting this? You get the idea. So the third thing to you, I would say, is what's missing? In other words, what do you need back? So perhaps you've let go of certain things that you really loved for whatever reason, and you realize that part of you is missing. And it might, maybe it's music, there's certain types of music that you used to listen to, and you just loved it and you haven't listened to it in ages. Or maybe there are certain books or films that you just love that somehow make you feel more whole or complete. It may well be other people that you need back in your life, and that you've just, again, become so busy that you've let that slip. I mean, all of these things make a difference, I think, to helping us feel more whole, more like ourselves. So what do you need back in your life that can help you feel most yourself? And then I suppose that all these questions are very interrelated really, but how can you live more out loud? How can you express yourself and what you love to do more, so that you feel more like yourself? How can you show those true colors? So a wonderful thing to reflect on. And so speaking of which, what lesson are you taking away from this? I mean, it could be a very simple lesson, like I need to listen to more of this particular music because I love it and I haven't listened to it in ages. It could be something quite simple like that. Or it could be, again, I tend to think of things that I like to do that maybe I got out of the habit of doing. But what are those things? It might be a place. It might be going somewhere, shopping or nature, or doing certain things that you just don't have as much time for. But maybe could 5 or 10 minutes help? You know, you're not getting a chance to watch your favorite team much. Is there some way you can work that into what you're doing more? So that's how I want to conclude. So what lesson are you taking away from this? And what is your next step going to be? What's one thing that you can do to start putting this back more into your life so that you can express yourself more for who you are? And then the last thing is who's going to hold you accountable to make that happen? And is there a friend or someone in your family that you can ask to check in with you and ask whatever it is that you want to do? How can you share that so that somebody else, how can you put it out to the world? Maybe it's just posting on Facebook. I don't know what it is, but what is it that can help make you more accountable to actually do the things that are going to help you enjoy life more? So I just think it's a wonderful question that we just hardly ever get posed. And for those of you that are achiever types watching this, you've got massive incentive to start telling your story more effectively and to be more of your own brand, because that actually is going to help your business and make you more of a real, easier person to connect to. So that's today's topic. At what point in your life and what can you do to feel more and more like your true self? I'm Matt Anderson. This was Daily Elevation. Look forward to joining you on a future presentation.